Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is debunking a story about Southport. I'm trying to watch my words here. The guy who allegedly murdered children at Southport, and more importantly, his father. Now, before I start, what I don't want to do is give the impression that I believe everything is good and well about this horrific story, and more importantly, the stuff surrounding the story. I've already put out a video on the 1st of August where I was adamant before anybody else that this was terror related, and I didn't use just ideas out of thin air. I showed you the police who gave me enough confidence to put that video out to suggest that there was a terror link. That was on the 1st of August. The 30th of October, I put out a second video where I disclosed a connection between the father of the accused and his uncle. His uncle being the General Secretary of the party who run Rwanda. I'll come back to that story later on in the video. So although I'm just about to debunk something that shows on the face of it an incredibly strange set of circumstances and a connection between Keir Starmer nonetheless and the father of the guy charged with these murders, I don't believe this to be true, and I would not keep my integrity if I didn't say that I felt it was wrong. The truth is more important to me than apportioning incorrect blame, and I do think going forward Keir Starmer will be shown to have some involvement in the aftermath of this incident and stuff that simply shouldn't have happened. However, I don't believe the current new silver bullet, as it's been sold, is true at all. But I will come on to some things that I do believe to be true once I'm finished. So what's been happening on social media over the weekend? There's been this claim that Keir Starmer defended the accused's father when there was an attempt made to send him out of the country, and his application for asylum was apparently in danger, and the QC at the time, Keir Starmer, defended him in court. So we were presented on social media with a document dated 19th of February 2003 in a case heard by Mr. Justice Collins, Right Honourable Mr. Justice Collins, and defending Keir Starmer, QC, and Mr. Simon Cox. They were defending claimants J, claimants F, and claimants M. So in this case, which was apparently to challenge a decision and have three asylum seekers, more than three, he was defending three asylum seekers from being expelled from the United Kingdom. And that looks on the face of it a definite link, but unfortunately it only gives you the pseudonyms, is that the right word, of the people involved in the case to protect their identity. So if you were presented with this document and someone was to claim that one of these defendants was in fact the father of Axel, who is the guy charged with these horrific Southport murders, then you could believe that. But when you actually look at the 36 pages of the document and not just the covering paper of the document, you find descriptions to each of the three people that Keir Starmer was defending. And the first one was defendant J, 26-year-old man who comes from Iran. So I think it's fair to suggest that is not the defendant's father. The second one is defendant F, who, as you can see, is a 33-year-old Angolan, ex-army, and been told that he'd been suspected of spying and fled Angola for his own safety. And the third and final person that Keir Starmer defended that day was M. And M, as you can see, is a 42-year-old Hutu woman from Rwanda. Now you might think, well, it could be some relation of his. You want to try and, get a connection that's not there and suggest, oh, that might have been his mother. Well, okay. But what we've got to then accept is the story that I put out on the 30th of October, where there's a connection between the Secretary General of Rwanda's current government, leading party, who is the uncle of Axel. Sorry, the uncle of Axel's dad. So the great uncle of Axel. But the people controlling Rwanda right now are Tutsis. So I think it's fair to suggest and accept that if your uncle is the General Secretary of the party who is Tutsi, then you're probably from the Tutsi tribe yourself. Your whole family would be. So I don't think you could be a Hutu. And what happened, there's another claim that Alphonse Rudakubana is the dad. They just changed his name, changed his first name. But as you can see in this document in front of you here, this commune where Alfonso was involved was a key location in the 1994 Rwanda genocide. According to reports, the commune was a hub for Hutu power ideology and military operations, which led to the massacre of thousands of Tutsi civilians. And my understanding is this family that you're looking at, the defendant in the Southport case, the man accused of murdering children at Southport, are Tutsis. And what I base that on is a connection with the father to the uncle, where the uncle is a leading member of the Tutsi party, who are in government in Rwanda at the time. So, I do believe there's something going on. I do believe there's been some sort of cover-up or involvement with the government, and that's not in the case, by the way. So, there's no contempt of court here. I'm not talking about anything that happened at Southport. But the government did have a push to try and quell people suggesting not even the identity, but details about the suspect. And I do believe there's been government influence in that. In particular, if you revert back to the video I put out on the 1st of August, days after the event, where I proved that there was terror aspect to this crime, because I didn't dream that up, I didn't make it up. I listened carefully to exactly what the leading police officer in the inquiry said at a press conference. And just to reiterate what I said in that video, and I'll put a link to it if you want to watch it, was that she thanked the Northwest Anti-Terror Police for their involvement up until now and their continued involvement in the case, suggesting that they would be continuing to help with the inquiry. If the anti-terror police had been involved with this and said right away, as our government told us, because we were told right away there's absolutely zero connection to terror, then they would have buggered off and gone away and looked at other things, like terrorists, because that's what they do. But they didn't. They were thanked for their time from the start of the inquiry, and we were told that they would be continuing to help with the inquiry. It was obvious. Absolutely obvious. And the link to the Rwandan politician, who's apparently the uncle, who's a Tutsi, that could be twofold. I mean, I would imagine a guy at his level, Secretary General of the party, would have been involved with their government when the Tories were in power, and they were discussing and arranging the Rwanda deal to put asylum seekers from the UK into Rwanda, and then would have had contact with the Labour government when they were actually cancelling this whole thing. So, is it beyond the realms of possibility that somebody in the Rwandan government who was related to someone in quite a big high incident in the UK could have had contact with the current government to try and help in some way? I don't think that's an unacceptable and ridiculous idea. Is it the thing that Farage and others have suggested has been covered up by the British government? I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. But what do I think? This is complete guessing. This is complete conjecture. When I know things for a fact, I tell you facts. You can take them to the bank. When I'm not 100% sure, I'll also make sure you're aware. I'm not 100%, but what I think the big problem was the way this was handled by the media via direction from the government to take it away from the possibility that the person involved was either A, Muslim, or B, with any links to terror. Now, is that a rocket, silver bullet that would pull down a government? I'm not convinced. What I'm also disappointed at, though, people like Nigel Farage coming out and saying, oh, I know stuff that I can't tell you. Well, yes, you can. You just need to take some bravery tablets and come out with it. If you think that there's something going on really, really terrible and really, really bad with our government, and what you're basically saying to me as a UK citizen is, I know, but I'm not saying, that isn't good enough for me. I don't think he's got a silver bullet, by the way. I don't think Farage is. I think he's doing a bit of fan dance. But if he has, and he's telling us, I know, but I'm not going to tell you, then why have I to think you're a good guy? I don't. I think Farage's... I was a Farage fan, by the way, right up to not long after the election. And now I'm not saying I detest him, I'm not saying that at all, but what I'm going for somebody that was like, well, this is quite exciting you're just another one of them. Between throwing people under buses, telling the British public not to protest, now going, well, I know something you don't know, but I'm not going to do anything about it, isn't the type of person I want to be led by. So there we go, some interesting... I'm sorry, I'm maybe a bad news to some people who'd really wanted this to be a silver bullet, but this document that we've seen one page of by those pushing it as narrative, I don't believe to be true. And I think it's only fair that I put out this video, regardless of, it doesn't actually suit my narrative. I would love stuff to, make Nigel Starmer look bad, because I'm not a Nigel Starmer fan, for those of you who haven't already guessed that. But this isn't that. So I think, from a purely balanced point of view, I did consider, should I put this video out or should I not? And I thought it's the right thing to do is put it out, because I don't want anybody to influence press, media or social media with stuff that's not true, regardless of whether it suits my narrative or not. And this is something that by putting this video out does not actually fit my narrative, because my narrative is quite simple. Keir Starmer should not be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. This story kind of helps that narrative, but it's wrong. And I think it's only fair that we have balance when we are doing what I'm doing as a civilian, putting videos out, putting them into social media, and also mainstream media. If it's bad that the mainstream media put out good stories and tell wee fibs about Keir Starmer, then it's only fair that we are balanced and search the truth, not just accept lies because it suits. So if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and the notifications button. Comments below, love the comments below. They've been really, really busy recently, so I've not been able to respond as often as I have, but I do get to read them all, and I appreciate them. I appreciate every one of them. But most importantly, unless you're the type of person who wants to tell lies, regardless of whether they're on my narrative or not you. But
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.